Alright, so we are looking at an advanced replay from the perspective of Drew-tastic. I was told that there were quite a few people who had a problem with how we played this, and I can see kind of why in the heat of the moment why people would have had a problem with it. But I think when we actually go back and look at it, we're going to see actually what Drew does is a lot less egregious than what you may have thought initially in the game. So we're going to start it here. Right away, the artillery just sucks, right? This new update, like, you're just a tank down. You're literally just a tank down. It just sucks. Both, I actually like their comp a lot. They're way more maneuverable. I'd take out some of their 277s, right, and play some Chiefs. But the fact that you're running 3S conks over Chiefs is really, really bad. An aggro run here by Drew. Okay, now you don't need two EBRs over here, right? And now Drew can get, he didn't get lit, so he can actually be more aggro. He should already be on the island here. Looks like he's going to take it right away, but let's pause. Okay, so many tanks mid, and I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem. We didn't bring any 9-0s, so this is just like, we're going to hard take mid. The problem is they can do kind of whatever they want over here. Sending only one tank to K. So the thing is, if you play mid here and they actually go one, because it looks like they're going 1-2 line. We know they're going to go 1-2 line in retrospect, but during the game, this very, very much looks like a 1-2 line. Y'all cannot just sit on the G line. So, let's take a look at that, because you've only got one tank going K1. That's bad. Your EBR has already been backed off out there. So, already we can be a bit more aggro. Drew misses this, which is... Okay. Yeah, okay. You either come up like this. Look how shallow I'm doing it, like that, right? You don't fucking come up like this and then try to turn. I don't know, like, have we never boosted before? We come up shallow and turn, or how do I go out of his... Right here, you come up through here, okay? Like this, again, really shallow, and then turn into this, and then go like this. The fuck is in my channel?
Left your channel. Sound muted.
Okay, that's how you boost it. So he's gonna do it again here, and it's very easy for him because he's the EB. Okay, but you see how you can, like, any other tank, you can't do it like that. Like, I don't, like, everyone should be able to do that first try, by the way. Okay, so let's pause again. At this moment, the only thing Drew's done poorly is he's done this a bit slow, but he spotted the tanks at A6. He should have already maybe got one shot into that CS. This, I'm not sure what's going on here in G2, in G3. What the fuck are you trying to accomplish there, people? Alright? Let's unpack this for a second. They are pushing through, right? This is very good, okay? Like, we do like having, but there should be more tanks here. And we're just sitting in G3, G2 area. They are not going to have shots on these guys, really. You might get one shot off. But to shoot these guys, you're going to have to overpeak into these motherfuckers, okay? And you can say, okay, well, the chieftains are here can farm these guys. But, like, these guys can play so far down that these guys probably won't really even have shots. Like, they literally can play, like, fucking essentially where they are and shit on these guys if these guys want to shoot the 1-2 line. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 tanks that are just completely useless. Just completely useless. And you've got an EBR down here. Okay, so you've got essentially one tank holding K1. What does this mean? It means that as soon as they take K1 and they kill this guy, every single person here is fucked. Which means right now, actually about 10 seconds ago, you either need it. Actually, let's go back because I'm not even sure. I didn't catch. Okay, so you're still. Let's speed it up again a bit. You see that, and we're already rotating a bit west. Yeah, why the fuck are we going to G3? You know they're coming 1-2. We know they're gonna come 1-2 here. Because they've got two EB. They have fucking. We have B9 with a CS or two in A6. We already have F6. We have mid, presumably the Chieftains has been peaking, and they have like 6 fast heavies and a Leo that's going to be playing like C1, D1, E1. They're obviously coming 1-2. So why the fuck are we putting people in G3? See, that's the thing. No one should be yelling at Drew in this replay. We should be yelling at having 5 fucking tanks over here. We can't win this. I don't even have to see the rest. You cannot win this unless somehow this 277 plays out of his mind and just survives against an onslaught, right? Because like I said, you can't just fucking push up here anymore, and you can't push up here anymore because these guys just turn around and are hull down on you. So the only way you do this is you've never sent people over here. They stay here, okay? And then what you have to do is, because you're fucking slow with super conks, all 3 of them have to play this ridge. You get as much bleed as you can when they're coming through here, and as soon as they pass like the HG line, every single person has to repush the E line. Okay? You don't have any 9-0s, which is another big issue. So already you need to be sending 1 chieftain north, and the reason we do this is because we know, or we should know, that when a play like this happens, when they're so fucking hard on 1-2 and mid, you have to take A6. So it would be 1 chief comes, harasses A6 with these guys, and then as this chief is coming through, everybody else who's now like over here, right? Your S-conks are on this ridge. We gonna give up this. We don't have a choice now, right? Like they are taking that. We don't have anyone over here. Everyone else flips right here. The guys on, you should have a couple more guys on F6, by the way, right? Like that actually gets bleed too. So there shouldn't be like fucking 10 people in the mid. That's just a throw. There's maybe 3 chiefs here, 4 chiefs here, and they all overdump through the E line, turn their turrets, put shot into the CS, right, and then just keep fucking going. And now you're on their side of the ridge, and what you do simultaneously, the chieftain and EBR are hard fighting A6. They've presumably gotten a huge volley from the people crossing E line. It doesn't even matter if you stop for a couple seconds to aim your shot on A6 because you just keep going after that. Because look, they're stuck down here, right? They're going to be stuck down here. And this is a big timing thing, right? You can't do it after they've taken K1 where they can just re-rotate, or when they're still in like E where they're just going to turn and just re-push, right? It has to be when they're about here and they're about to pick the 277. This is very standard. And so what you do after is the chieftain and EBR, as soon as they kill A6, they just yeet across the A line, right? The EBR literally throws himself across the A line into this area to spot anything out over here. Could be a Sturv, could be a Leo. You know it can't be like more than 1 or 2 tanks, right? And everyone else who's now probably taken up to about here kills anything in here. Once you get your chieftain across, he just kind of plays up into C, ready to reabsorb anything here. And your EBR, he can sit C1, he can do a loop like this, it doesn't matter. If there's still someone in here, you can make the choice to overdump it or just snipe it out with your chief from here, right? But at that point, you control everything and you have this ridge. And also, because you have 3 EBRs, you literally just sit 1 EBR like in these bushes or in over here, so that they can't just take anything for free. And now they're stuck, right? How happy do we get from the north, right? If we trap the south team in here, we're so happy, right? Because they can't rotate K line and they can't rotate back into us. So that is your play. It's literally to do the same thing from the south what a north team would want to do from you if you were camping in the south, right? You flip their ridge, and I guarantee this works. I know this works. This is how you must retake this. You cannot retake through G line unless you know your K line is going to be safe, and you should be able to tell your K line is fucked. Okay, and you don't even if you were to retake through G line, you don't retake through G line into like G3 this fucking early. My goodness. So this was just a complete fail. literally the only bright spot right now are these like 3 chiefs and Drew. Again, Drew is played a bit, and he actually starts playing a bit worse. But yeah, that is how you retake it, and this should be like instantaneous. Everybody should know that, right? You see it. You don't even have to see it, right? The caller says, okay, we know we have east, we have mid, and look at their comp. We need to get ready to flip this 5-line ridge. And as soon as I actually saw the CSs, I would have sent one chieftain north just so that as soon as we do see it, the chieftain's already about here when we see it, and we call this overpush. Because you can see if you overpush this E line, you absolutely fuck them. You win this every single time. They can't do anything. And there's a lot of advances out there. I'm sure we've played a couple, but I may be able to find some online, like Give Up or you, Joe, or whoever, where this is like a very standard thing to do. Is you see this is gonna die, you flip, you retake, and you push through A with a couple tanks. Normally it's like a 9-0 and 2 EBRs, but you have EBRs here. EBRs too, like you see this, you should already be rotating to offside. EBRs, I think one of the gripes was EBRs, you needed to be in the fight. No, you need to be offside here, because even if you do this, imagine if you have like two or three EBRs achieved or two puts a shot into these guys, and you have like 2 or 3 EBRs just kind of on the 1-2 floating, spotting out everything and surviving. You need to be playing offside EBR, so we're going to continue here. So right away, we are going to lose this game. And look, they can. This is actually a bit of a misplay by them. To just yeet like this. Well, it's actually not bad, and the reason it's not bad is because look how fucking like you're just. What are these guys? Everyone over here. What are they gonna do to help these guys? Because if they're smart, they just push to this ridge and shit on this, and they have like 2 or 3 tanks killing this 277. It's just such a big fail. Drew does not have to back off this much here. I don't like people always backing off this much. Okay. We're re-pushing through G line. No, you can't do that. And it looks like you may... It looks like at this point you may even win through the GF line, right? But no, you won't, because this guy's about to fall, which means they just have to hold, which they certainly can't. And then these 3 guys just farm the shit out of everybody. And we've just got an EBR. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I think RO the EBR is already dead. No, you can't be like I don't. What are you gonna do? Guarantee none of the EBRs did like more than like 1,200 damage. Like what? Whoop did you fucking do? You did 1,200 damage, but you didn't play your tank. Zoomed in too much. Drew and I had a conversation about this last night. A lot of people in Goons have this problem. You'll see a better example of it. As soon as these CSGOs go dark, Drew has to go through the A line, because you have to assume they're rotating through. Like, I'm not sure what you're doing here, Drew. Because even if they push you, you can get support from one of these chiefs or literally just run, and that's 2 tanks out of the fight for them. Because now the HP's even. You still can't win this, right? I'm not sure why their chiefs are, like, doing whatever the fuck this is. Like, they just have to hold this ridge and kill this S-Kong. I think they're just pushing a bit too early. But this is over. This, like, you can't win this. Your 277, by the way, is still, again, you can see how you, like, lose your... So, yeah, and as soon as your K1 falls, there's fuck all. There's fuck all you can do. But you can see, they even, as soon as they dumped this too, you actually had another opportunity to flip the ridge and push through E. I think you still lose it if you do that, but it's a lot closer. You may not even lose it because they like kept retard going, and these guys actually somehow survived for a long time. So you may not lose that. Either way, it's a lot closer, and it looks close now, but it's not. It's not. The HP's even, or fairly even, but there's nothing you can do. Big, another thing with Drew, why you're not just going here, dude? Like, why you going over here? Like, you need, this is where in the EBR you do need to get your DPM out, right? And you just need to be farming as much as you can. But you don't want to just be like in the fucking fight. Like this EBR right here, this is a huge fucking misplay. What is gonna happen to you? Okay, well, I'll tell you what's gonna happen to you. These guys will shoot you. Anyone in here will shoot you, and this EBR will keep you permalit, and you probably won't do any damage. So, not sure. Yeah. So again, okay, let's pay attention here to how much Drew zooms in. The fuck? Can't even see the tank. The chief is like over here, but he zooms in so much. Look how much he has to correct it. Lost. Oh, found it. That's like 2 seconds of not being able to fucking find this chief. And there's been a couple other replays. There was one on Himmels and another one on another map that I can't remember, where literally 2 other players in Goons did the exact same thing. If you do this, and you're constantly on max zoom or near max zoom, you do not aim properly, okay? Like, that's a big problem. Not only did he waste 2 seconds or 2 or 3 seconds coming to A6 instead of B6, he wasted another 2 seconds aiming in. He's also aiming at a wrong spot right now. He's got A PCR loaded. The only place he should be aiming is here. That goes through. That did not have to go through, by the way. But that's like 6 seconds, which is almost another shot, right? And I just want to kind of talk about this zooming in bullshit more. It makes you more inaccurate, okay? You don't think it does, because now all of a sudden, instead of just tracking something like this, but it being smaller on your screen, you have to fucking track like this. Like, what the hell is this? You're moving your whole hand across the screen. No wonder we don't fucking hit EBRs, man. It's upsetting to watch. And it's so easy to fix. It's like the one thing everyone can fix in pubs. Just don't zoom in them. If you have to, turn like the max zoom off for a bit. Because yes, I use max zoom too, but you want to be as zoomed out as possible, essentially, because it gives you better range finding, right? You're going to be able to kind of feel out your shell more, because zoomed in, you're going to be like, oh, why didn't that? It was fucking way behind, or it was nowhere near where I was aiming it. Well, yeah, because your reticle gets bigger and it starts lying, right? When you're zoomed in at max 25%, your reticle is actually a lot bigger than you think it is, and it shows on your screen. So that's actually a problem. Like here, it'll like go basically in like one of this area, but when you're max, it's gonna like go anywhere within here. So that's one thing. And another thing is, like, how are you gonna determine really how far you have to lead when you're literally only seeing right the fuck in front of their tank? Like, what? I don't get it. And like, so many people have this problem, and it's not a problem I ever thought anybody would have, but it's like a huge problem. And I suppose it's not just this clan. I feel like it would be a lot of other clans too, and it's, I don't know if it's lazy aiming or it's just like how you feel better, like, I don't know, where you need glasses or some shit, but you should be able to aim, please. And Drew and I talked about this, and like I said, it's not only him. And he's going to work on it, and like I said, it's very easy to improve. It's like the only thing you can work on in pubs, and you can improve it in like a week. Okay, so here, okay, wow. I don't know how we be yelling at Drew when there's just an EBR. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, how do you, like, is this man getting snuck up on by their entire team? What are you doing? Get the fuck out. What the fuck? What are you gonna do here? Your gun's not in the fight. This is a straight suicide. You should be over here. Okay, Drew is looking for this chief. The chief is going down though. This is where Drew, you can zoom in and check if the chief is going down, and you have a shot on this guy, which could actually help. Who's it? That's Dusan. Dusan was one of the guys who thought you played this poorly, and I can see why, because look, you have a shot on this guy, which would greatly help Dusan, and you're looking for this. Okay, and on top of this, I also told this to Drew. While he's reloading, he's got like a 10-second reload. He shouldn't be sitting here. He should be moving in. Okay? But again, okay, these are fairly nitpicky things. These would not have won or lost the game. I want to make that very clear for anybody who thought like these plays would have not won or lost the game. And by the way, anyone who thinks he shouldn't have taken A6, you're wrong. Yes, he always takes A6. He was very slow in doing it, and he can speed up a lot of things. But really, no one in the clan can get annoyed at someone for playing slow, because literally everybody plays slow. So here he should be helping Dusan, and Dusan should actually be alive, because he actually 1v1s the CS really nicely if there's not a fucking second CS. And Drew's still sitting. You can see Drew is, and he goes this way. which is now I think Drew told me here he was just told to int in, but you at least could have inted in from this side. And the correct play is to actually int in, but he needed to confirm the kill here and not wait for this chief. And you can see how it's over. I'm not sure how this EBR is still alive. He should have been dead a long time ago, but he's gonna fall here. He just, yeah, it's all over. And here again, yeah, I mean, I don't know if their EBR had died and you have a chieftain and EBR of your own, like Drew can possibly win that. Imagine if you had an extra tank too and you didn't have an artillery. Like even with the huge misplays across the G line, and the EBRs just randomly being in the south, you still probably win that. So let's yeah, I think the I think Drew actually played that the best out of the 3 EBRs. Because late game you just lost one here and then the other one was just fucking milling about in here. I don't know. He was very Drew. You were so slow up in here, but taking a6 is absolutely the right play. Recognizing you can come in and maximize your speed and DPM a bit more, right? You could have probably come in and helped Dusan. That still wouldn't have won you the game. If you had come and helped Dusan and you had another chieftain over here instead of a 2-6-1, you actually probably do win this game. But like I said, the biggest thing is just you lost 5-10. It was literally a 10v15, and you almost brought it back, guys. So they did a really bad repush into here late, which you guys bled heavily, and they're not very healthy. So that's a little silver lining. But you really did play that game 10v15, and there was not like Drew didn't make an absolutely huge misplay. Like I wouldn't be too upset with him. I can see in the heat of the moment when they're the Chiefs over here and you're getting pressured and you just see a fucker up at a6 not helping you. I can see why that would get you really upset. And it is a slight misplay, right, Drew? We went over. You should look for the shot and be moving when you're reloading to get closer to the fight, right? You don't want to be just like in the fight like this EBR. You don't want to just be like in between 7 enemies, but you want to be as close to the fight as you can, where you can still run away and not be in danger and get unlit and start outspotting people at range, right? And A6 was good for that when they had like the CSs rotated in this guy here, but as soon as they're about to flip E, you need to be chasing them down, right? 2 or 3 grid squares behind them, every reload getting a shot off. Like I said, there were a couple other pretty big misplays. I think the comp also kind of sucked. I think with the CSs being in the game and Chiefs over S-Conks, they could just kind of do whatever they want. Because you from their perspective, you look at it and you're kind of forced to play mid, and they like that. And you still almost won. I guess you had a lot of HP and they didn't, but everything kind of was favorable for them. And it wasn't even like a 10v15 actually, right? It's 9v15 because you have an Artie. It's not Doji's fault. It's just Artie sucks now. There's almost no reason. Like even when we're breaking camps, like we can't even bring Artie anymore and give up. It's just useless. It never does more than like 2k, even in a game that goes for like all 15 minutes. And this was a game where they pushed. Like I'm not sure what you want Doji to do here. He probably got no damage. I think we can actually check that. So I think we can check the team scores here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, the team scores. Is this damage? Yeah, this is damage. All right. Yeah, okay, Doji did 1100. And I don't even understand how he was able to do that much because nothing fucking stopped moving. All right, there Leo was unlit basically all game. He was obviously up at the west doing whatever he had to do. Okay, so we've got Drew, who did 2200. 1,000 of that was garbage time. It was complete. 1,200 of that was garbage time. It was completely over. Lauren did 400. Okay, so that's excusable. Lauren was calling, but he still can't let himself get caught out in the south. But it is very hard to call and play EBR. Like a lot harder than people would realize. So he got caught out. That's a tank down. And then Kados, well, I think he was the guy who was just lost in the south. He confirmed 2 kills, but did 1100 damage. And if he had been offside, he probably could have done 2.5k. We got no spot in, right? No. At least Drew hit and penned all of his shots. That's pretty good. Yeah, there was a couple lucky shots there. Our super conks, yeah. So I guess this was the first guy. You should not only do like you need to get out at least 2 shots in a super conk. I'm not sure where OMG was. The other super conks, like I assume they were there to be pushed. At least Tank Killer got as presumably as many shots as he could. That's about what you should be getting in a super conk when you're just getting over pushed, because it wasn't like they were over pushing to 1 tank. They're pushing to like 4. I think that's about it on the video, but yeah, so in that situation, and any situation very similar, you need to retake A, preferably with 2 EBRs and then med, and then repush through E if you're going to lose K. So Drew actually did make the correct play for an EBR. It's good that he come and cleared island. That was slow. It's good that he took this, but he was slow rotating out and didn't look for the correct shot, so a bit of awareness there. And coming in, obviously late, he was frustrated, so he just inted and it was already over. But other than that, he did not actually make egregious misplays. Like, there was not something so bad that I would have actually felt like I would want something to review the replay. But reviewing the replay did kind of reveal some other things that went horribly wrong, right? Like being 6 tanks down. But anyway, that the advance is over. I think the next advance we actually citadeled the next clan, right? So obviously people were playing better, and let's just try to keep it up for tonight.